All right, let's jump in. So some of you built this 10. All of you should have. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Now, I don't know if you guys do this in all of your big files with AutoCAD, ArchiCAD, SketchUp. Please go ahead and put your phones on silent or vibrate, yeah? So what I always do every day I go into work on my file, I just do a backup and I save it for that date, right? So that if I lose the file or if my computer crashes or something, I only lose like 1 day's worth of work, right? Versus 10. Yes. So a lot of times if I'm working a lot on a model, I will back up every hour or a couple hours, yeah? Because if you put in 4 days of work on one file and then you lose that file, it's not good. Yeah, especially if you're working. Yeah. So whenever I was working at a firm or on a real project, every day I'd go in, I'd do a save as, and I put today's date, and I'd start from today. Yeah. So if that file crashes, I've got it backed up. Okay. Right now, when you're in school, maybe you just get a failing grade, but if you're working, your employer will be very upset. Yeah. So I'm going to delete this 10 and come back to here. So everyone is here, correct? Right? Nice work. Nice work. Now, one thing that we forgot to do, we kind of simplified this into a ramp over here, right? But actually, we need to come in and there's going to be a slope walk here. There's going to be some stairs, a little level spot. We're going to come up to there, right? So we're going to go ahead and bring this whole thing up as a group. Pull it up there. We're going to work on some of the stairs, okay? Yeah. Good. Does everybody's line work look like this? Yeah. If not, if you have some holes in it, right? If there's not faces in a couple of these, you can come in and all you have to do, how do we make faces? You can use the make faces command if you want, right? But the old school easy way, so we've got to make sure we're getting into the file. If your image keeps getting selected, right? You see this? Keeps getting selected. You can actually just select it once. If we're just working in SketchUp, in our model, we can actually just hide this guy. So you can select it once, right click, hide it. And then mine actually has, I have hidden geometry turned on, but if I go to view, hidden geometry, I can turn that off, okay? So that way, when I'm selecting things, it's a little bit easier. And I can easily turn it back on by going view, hidden objects, or view hidden geometry. Then I can select it and right click and click unhide. Okay. So it's just, you can also do it with layers too. Watch, there's numerous ways to do it. Layers are now they're called tags, but if we, I'm just going to show this real quick. If you get it, cool. If you don't sweat it. Okay. But do you guys have a little thing over to the side that says default tray? Yes or no? Yes? Yes. So it automatically does it, yeah, when you open it up? Anybody that doesn't have it? Should say default tray to the side, yeah? Everybody, look up real quick. Give me a yay or nay. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, cool, good. If you don't have that, you can always go to the window default tray and you can say show tray, okay? And that'll show, and you can actually add what you want, like the different tabs on your tray over there. But it'll auto hide, which is nice. So we can come and hover my mouse over the side, and then you can have a tag. So tags are just like layers in CAD or ArchiCAD, okay? So they're real nice to use, especially when we're trying to control things turning on and off. So I could come over here, I could hit this little plus button, and all I'm going to write is L. So L is all my layers for landscape, right? I generally start all my stuff off with L dash image, right? Or if I'm working with an aerial in here, I'll name it L dash image or L dash aerial. So then what I can do, then I just like in ArchiCAD or, well, I've never used ArchiCAD, but I'm assuming that similar in AutoCAD, you can put things on different layers and you can turn those layers on and off. Right? So this one, if I select that, I can go to over here. I can hover over my default tray, click on entity info, right? You can see it says untagged. I think it's hard to read, but that says untagged. Yeah. And then you can actually drop down, put it on the L image layer. Right. So now that info or that piece of that image is on that layer now. So I can come down here, I could turn it on and off, right? Kind of nice, yes? So if you followed me on that, great. If you didn't, don't sweat it. But it's on the video, so now you can learn it later. So let's make sure that we're selecting that component, right? I'm gonna go ahead and hide mine so I can select this. But make sure that on this side, where all the stairs are, there'll be a couple of stairs on this side also, right? So let me make sure you guys know which side we're on. If this is north, if north is up, then I'm working on the east side right now. Okay, everybody tracking? Yes? Yes. Yes. Good. Okay. I got one thumbs up. We're tracking here. All right, so I'm gonna click inside that group, right? I'm inside the group. I'm gonna come over here. If I'm missing some faces, I got a couple of options. I could use the line tool, right? And I could draw here and hopefully it would recognize the faces, or I could also select, right? I could select those and I could go tools, make faces, right? Now, when I do the tools, make faces, I want to make sure there's no double faces, right? If I make a face where another face is, it'll do that weird flashy thing you might be seeing. Are you guys seeing some of that? If you get two faces, let me see if I can, if it'll allow me to do it. If I do another face here, it'll do this weird flashy thing where you have, it's basically trying to tell you, hey, you've made two faces here. So some of you guys, when I was helping you earlier, if you're making a face and you see that like it looks like it's kind of flashing, like purple and white, that means you have two faces. So you can generally actually go in and just select one of them and delete it. I only have one, so. But if you're coming into that issue, ask and we can fix it. Okay, so we got that right. Now, what I'm thinking is that we've already got the elevation we want to build at up here, right? Correct? Yes? Okay. Okay, so hey, pause real quick. Let me do this and then we can do some work time too, okay? So is everybody here? Does everybody have this line work? Yes? Awesome. Yes? So we should have that line there. All right, so then just watch me, even if you don't have it, watch me do it first. And then you guys are going to do some work session. I'm going to show you how to pull this up, make some stairs, and then I'm also going to I'll probably have you guys jump over and do this other side by yourselves, yeah? But or maybe you know how to do stairs, but there's always cool ways to learn to do it, okay? So I'm going to come in, I want to select this whole length of walk and make it into a group so I can pull it up here and then start working with it at the correct elevation, right? So I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to hold down control, double click, double click, double click. I'm just going to work my way down. I use groups really to just keep things from sticking together, right? Because if I were to grab this line work and move it up top, and it would start to get stuck to the other line work, right? Because anytime lines intersect in SketchUp, they join, right? If they're not in a group. So I'm going to right click now that I've made this selection. But you have to right click on the selection, right? I have to hover my mouse over that thing I just selected and say make group, okay? M for move, I'm going to snag this guy. Lock it to the, how do I get it to lock to the north, to the up, the Z axis? Up arrow, right? You see, might be hard to see, but this is a darker blue line, okay? Which means I'm locked on that axis. If I hit that up arrow again, it becomes unlocked or disappears, yeah? So now I can move on any axis I want, but I want to lock it to the up. And then I can zoom out and get to here, and I can click right there, okay? Nice. Now I'm going to delete this ramp that I made because it's not correct, right? Now we're going to have some fun, right? Now, according to our base map down here, look, we've got 16.5 down to 16, right? We got 500 mm drop, yeah? How many risers do we need for 500 mm or 50 centimeters, 0.5 meters? If our risers are 0.15. Close, yeah, because that'll get us to 450, right? So if we've got 0.5 divided by, that's our drop, right? Divided by 0.15, yeah? 3 1/3, right? We'll just do 3. Please don't do third steps, yes? How many people have seen third steps? Like steps that are about this big, right? And they're just the right amount to catch your toe and have you fall over, yeah? So depending on the project and the budget, I've seen really bad steps, yeah? And I'm sure your professors tell you, if you're gonna do risers, make sure they're all the same height, yeah? I try to do all the same height across the entire project. Yeah, because then you're used to that step, you're used to that cadence. You don't have these like 80 centimeter ones and then 30 centimeters, so you're just gonna fall over, right? So we'll do 3 of them, and then we'll maybe we'll slope this landing down here a little bit, right? Because what percentage should all of our hardscape actually be sloping at? What's our minimum slope for hardscape to make sure the water runs off? Do you guys know? Minimum slope for hardscape. How much do we have to have it sloping? 2% is ideal. That's good, but you can drop it down to what? 1%. Yeah. Okay. On hardscape, you can do it at 1%. Just making sure that you have positive drainage. Why do we need positive drainage? Because what? Why do we need positive drainage? Yeah, to move stormwater, right? Do you guys get rain here? Do you? A little bit? Sometimes, right? If it doesn't slope, what happens to the water? It's just gonna be sitting there, right? So all my hardscape slopes a minimum of 1% in some direction, yeah? You'll see plenty of places where it doesn't do that, right? But you guys as professionals are gonna make sure you got 1% slope going somewhere, yeah? On all hardscape. That's a long kind of diatribe, but we can slope this thing right here a little bit and be okay, yeah? Remember that third riser or that 0.3 riser we need? Maybe we can just slope this a little bit, yeah? But watch, all right, so I'm gonna come in here, we're gonna do our risers. Now watch, what I like to do is I like to make all my risers the same height. So I'm gonna make them a component. So I'm gonna watch inside this group, okay? You don't have to do this. You could just come in and go push and start pushing and pulling this, right? So P is your push-pull shortcut, okay? P gets you in this command. We can do this, right? Everybody tracking? Yeah. You guys have done some pushing and pulling, yeah? Yeah. In SketchUp. Okay. Right? So look, we're going to double click on this guy inside. We're inside that group. We're going to right click. I'm going to make this a component, okay? Now a component, do you guys understand what a component is? Yes or no? Give me some of these if you don't know what one is, okay? So do you guys know what a block is in ArchiCAD? Come on, guys. I need some thumbs, please. Please. I've only gotten 1, maybe 2. Do you know what a block is? If you don't, just give me some of these, yeah? That way I know. If you, yeah, okay, yeah. So all a block is in CAD or in a component is the same thing in SketchUp. It's basically like an entity. Like I'm going to create, like you can make it out of line work, out of polylines. And here I can make it out of lines, right? So a component is something that's going to be repeated throughout the drawing, okay? Yes? So same thing in AutoCAD. I can make a block, and that same thing is going to be, it's going to be the same entity, the same unit, or like a lot of times I make plant blocks. So everywhere I'm going to put a Ruellia, I make a plant block that's the correct size, and then I click and I copy those blocks everywhere. Yeah. And then I just do a block count. I don't know how many Ruelia I'm going to install. Yes. You guys done that? You've done that. Yes or no? Okay, cool. So same thing, because we're going to use that later. I'm going to bring in my AutoCAD blocks, right, into SketchUp, and they're going to become components. Okay. So it's the same idea in CAD, a block. In SketchUp, it's a component. It's something that repeats, and I'll show you what this means. Okay. So I'm going to call this, how wide is this walk? Isn't it how wide is this? So I like to know, real quick, I'm going to show this as, yeah, it's a 2-meter wide walk. So I'm going to call this, I have to get back inside this group. We get to here, double click. So I just have that selected, right? So if I'm outside the group, remember, I have to double click on the line work, keep going in until I'm inside the group. You can actually tell that I'm inside this group because the other things are grayed back, right? Then if I double click on this guy, I'm going to right click, make component. So I'm going to call this 2 meter by 0.15 stair. Okay. I'm going to call it tread. You guys know what a tread and a riser is? Yes. Yes. Thumbs up. Let me see you. Tread and riser. Awesome. How wide's a tread? 30 centimeters, approximately, right? I mean, when I'm designing first, like that's what I do. But as I'm getting more detailed and going into construction documents, I might change that. It might only be 150, and it might be like a wider tread than 300. Maybe I'll go to 400 to make it feel a little more relaxed. Yeah. So 300 yeah, 300 mm, 150 mm for our risers and tread. Okay. So we're going to create this. So then watch. Now, the cool thing about this, it makes it into another group, right? But this group is special. So watch, we're going to do this. I'm going to push this up 0.15 meters, right? Oh, look at that. What a stair, right? Okay, so it's not that exciting. Well, watch, we do this. Now we can move this down to here, yeah? And now I'm going to delete this and delete that. Delete that. Now I can just copy these, right? There's actually, you can buy or you can download extensions that are just called stair makers. You ever use stair maker? Yeah. So you really just like select the thing and it'll make a stair. Okay. So there's a lot of ways of doing it, but I'm starting you guys off on kind of the basics so you know how to run the program, and then you can expand all your knowledge beyond there. But so watch, we're just going to copy this. Sorry, let me show you how I did that. So I've selected this, right? That's the component. I'm going to hit M for move, right? Now I'm moving it, right? Now watch. Then if I hit control, it makes a copy of it. Whoa. Right? Now, if I do that again, I click there, control again, right? Look at this. My word, that looks good, huh? Yeah. So then I can grab this guy. I'm going to go ahead and make it a group 2. Make group, right click, make group, M for move, drop it down to there. Look. Oh. Right? It's coming along. Right? And then we could come over here. Now, I think we need to slope this. But what we're going to do, this isn't going to be the exact elevation. What is this elevation? It's at 16. So it's going to be a little bit higher than that, okay? It's going to be a little bit higher than that. But I'm just going to make it up because I'm modeling this. We could actually get it to like completely at 16 if we slope this down. But whenever I'm building a model, especially early on, a lot of it's just graphic. If I wanted it to be perfect, then I would build it perfectly. But they're probably going to change this design 4 times by the time I get to construction, right? Yes, sir. So I'm not going to build this model completely perfect for construction. Yes? Yes. There's different ways of building models. I could build this eventually to get it perfectly correct, but right now, I don't even know if the client likes it. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. I'm going to say, okay, well, I know this is supposed to be 16, but it's going to be a little bit higher because I didn't do that last third of a riser, right? But it's okay. So I'm going to keep going. I'll come down to these. I'm going to make this guy a group 2. I can always make groups and then just explode them whenever I want to, but I like to have the control of all the stuff not sticking together, right? So look, And now watch, this is even more fun. So then you can make a component out of all your components, right? Now, the cool thing about components is watch this. So they're all three the same component. I copied them down, right? Just like a block in ArchiCAD. So let's say I copy them. So watch, when I come in here and I manipulate this, please watch. Please watch, yeah? When I manipulate this, when I hit P for push, all of them change, yeah? Isn't that great? So I don't have to go in and change each one of these every time, right? So that's the beauty of a component. And then if I wanted to make them a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, all of them will change the exact same. Okay, so that's a component, yeah? Versus a group makes it separate, right? Doesn't stick to everything else. But if I change this, there's no copies of it anywhere, right? Even if I take this and I move it and I make a copy like I was doing, right? If I make a copy there, the difference between a group and a component is that group won't copy, right? Won't do the same thing as the component. Sawa? Yes? Good? What's the difference between a group and a component? In your own words. You could just say it in Swahili and I wouldn't know. And I'd be like, oh, that's probably right. Wow, these guys are listening. Remember, so a group won't, it's not, so it's a copy of it, right? But it's not the same entity. Yes? Does that make sense? This right here is a copy, like a component is an actual copy of that exact same entity, right? So anytime I copy these guys around, now that I've made it a component, any changes that I make to one of them, all of them do it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, right?
Yeah.
That's a component, yes? Component is the exact same entity. It's just like a block in ArchiCAD, yeah? Do you guys use blocks?
Yes.
A little bit? Okay. So, no? Okay, well, you will. They're great. They're really good. That way you're, especially with planting, we're gonna be doing it in a little bit. You're gonna love it because we're gonna make one block for Agapanthus africanus, right? How big is that plant? Is it this big? Agapanthus is about this big, right? I've seen some mature ones that are about this big. So what is that? 450, 45 centimeters. So it's 45 centimeters by 45 centimeters, right? I'm going to make a block that's 45 centimeter diameter. Yeah. Circle in CAD. Then I'm going to copy that all around my plan, everywhere I want one, right? And then I'm going to bring that into SketchUp and I'm going to drop a 3D plant on it and it's going to go boom. The whole model is going to have it. Okay. So I could have 50 of those. Yeah. Good. What's the difference between a component and a group? Component. What's that? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes. Same entity, right? The same whatever it is. It's gonna be the exact same. Okay. So that's a component, right? And then a group is just a copy, right? Yeah. Group is mostly just for keeping it clean and allowing me to work in that thing without it sticking to everything else. Yeah. Cool. All right. So watch. So look. So that's those are groups. I'm sorry. Those are components right there. So look, I have 3 more stairs I need to make right down here. Yeah. Because look, it says I'm going from 16 down to 15.4. Yeah. So if we needed to, that would be 0.5 down to 16. We could make it completely exact if we wanted to, right? With the riser, we get a little funny. $16.05 is what it's at. It's pretty close. We're going to leave it. So, but let's come down. If we're dropping 16 down to 15.4, what's our vertical drop? 0.6, right? How big's a riser? Bingo. How many risers do we need? We need 4, right? Everybody tracking with that? Yep. Perfect. All right. So I've only got, how many do I have on there? I've only got 3. Well, technically, look, that could be a riser right there, right? Like this is where it gets into the details. You guys ever heard the phrase "the devil's in the details"? When you start getting into construction, that's where the real devil in the details comes out. Yeah, but it's fun. It's cool. It's problem solving. So this, look, you could say that's a riser, that's a riser, that's a riser. Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. If we count that one, okay. Good. All we'll have to do is make this thing have a thickness, okay? But a lot of times on my construction plans, I indicate how many risers, yeah? Because if you're looking at a plan, you're like, okay, well, where does the step start? Yeah. So I say 4 risers at whatever drop, okay? That's why I'm conveying. I know how many I put there, and then the contractor knows how many I put there, right? We're doing a lot of stuff, but it's good. Okay, so watch. We're going to come in. Let's do this. Let's make this one a riser so that my number works, yeah? So I'm going to delete that, delete that, delete that. We're going to go back through this all together, okay? I'm just showing you how we're doing it. Everybody's tracking. All right, so look, then I already made these stairs. I'm just going to grab them. I could make it into a component. I could grab 1, 2, 3, right click, make group or component, right? I can make a component of a component. So watch, let's study that. If I make this a component, I say create, I could name it whatever, and I hit M for move, click here, starts moving. What do I have to hit to make a copy of it? Control, bingo, right? I can bring it over here, right there, yeah? Now, the cool thing, if that's a component of a component, right? If I click all the way inside to these guys again, see how it's selecting the same thing?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, uh-oh, this walk, like the client wants this walk to be like a foot wider. I can click on that and hit 0.3. Now all the stairs be wider, and then I can widen my walk. Cool. So that's helpful. But we forgot. Look, we've only got 3 risers, right? So watch. I just jump into this guy, double click inside there, push, drop down 0.15, right? And I would grab this, M for move, click here, there. Yeah?
Yes.
Look at this. My goodness. Okay. And then I could come in and clean this up with my eraser. Oops. I deleted that. But I don't think we need it now, do we? The rest of this goes from 15.4. There's a sloped walk from here down to 14.7, right? 14.7. So we could actually just measure that and draw it in and have a sloped walk there, yeah? So what I would do, I would actually come in, I'd just grab that, delete it, don't need it, right? And then I could click here. And now look, this is not in that same group, right? So will our geometry like connect or no? Will it make a face easily or no? It won't, right? Because if I go like this to here, and then over where that 0.2 is. Oh, it did work. That's because I drew 1, 2, 3 sides and there was already one here, okay? And then if I want this to all be the same, I could explode this group and start working across those. But a lot of times I like to keep things in group. I just remember what group is what, okay? Good, look at that. Woo. Right? I know you guys are excited, right? So we just did that, right? Now, some of you could probably just watch me do it, or maybe you already know how to do it and you could do that. But I also want to back up, delete all that, and start from the beginning, okay? Right? Good? Let's do it. Any questions about that process? Okay. So let's do that all together, yeah? If you think you can do it by yourselves, you can go ahead and jump in. Otherwise, we'll do it together. I'm just going to Control Z back forever. Look at all this work that I'm wasting. No. Okay. Here we go. Are we ready? So you have this edge, right? If we're looking at the plan. So now on this one, I'm going to need you guys to communicate to me and say, just let me know if I'm going too fast. Yeah. Because I want you doing this with me. Yes. You guys watched me do it. Now let's do it together. Okay. So we're going to be working on this eastern side over here where the stairs are. Hopefully you have this. If you don't have it, right? If you have some of these things, oops, I'm going to explode that. So I'm right where you guys are. If you don't have some of these faces, right? You can come in and make them. So from here, as long as we're inside that group, we can start make that whole thing into a group, right? Click, click, click to there. Or if it's really messy, oops. If some of these are not here, you could use your make faces command, right? I use make faces all the time. But you have to make sure that the selection doesn't go outside of what you want, right? Because if I had accidentally selected this guy and I made faces with that, it's going to get all kinds of funky, right? Or it might. But we have all this done, right? So let's select it. I'm going to make sure I'm inside that group, right? I can see that by my dash box. Come here, double click, selects that area. Hold down Control, double click, double click, double click, right? I'm working my way down. I'm holding down Control to let me add to my selection, right? I'm going to get that whole thing. I'm going to make sure my mouse is hovering over what I just selected. Right click, make group. Yes. Yes. What's the next step? Yep. Yes. Yep. How do we make sure it's going straight up? Yes, locks it on and off, right? You could toggle it by hitting, and you can do that with other axes too, right? So you could use your left or right axes. I can't remember which one. So you want to watch this. So if I want to move this, M for move, I'm going to select the corner, one click. Now it's ready to move. Look, you can lock it. You hit the left arrow, it's going to lock it to the green. If I hit the right arrow, it's going to lock it to the red. Helpful, right? Because if you're like, oh man, I got to move this whole thing over 0.3 meters, 5 meters, boom, you could do it. Okay. Well, let's lock it to the up arrow. So we've got our group, right? Type M for move. You can also come over here and click on this one if you want. Yeah. I teach shortcuts because it's faster. And we don't want to spend all the time modeling. We want to design and build, right? So the faster you can model, the faster you can get things built. So M for move selects that command, and then we click here, hit the up arrow to lock it. Yeah. Now it's going to be locked on that axis. It's trying to say, all right, how high do you want to go? We're just going to bring it up and just click it right on here. Okay. Sound effects are optional. And we're going to delete that old ramp. Okay. How's our speed? Good? We have this, do you guys ever say, oh, like you're in the weeds? We probably have a phrase. But so when I used to work at a restaurant, and they would have cooks, and we'd be really busy. So the cooks would be back there and they'd be like cooking, trying to get things done. And they were so busy, we'd be like, oh, they're in the weeds. Like they can't see, they're like so overwhelmed. So if you're like in the weeds and you're overwhelmed, just like be like, hey, like you could be like, hey, slow down. You can give me just a signal, yeah. But if you're not in the weeds and you're like, man, this guy's taking so long, then go ahead and step ahead and see if you could, because we've already done this once. Just keep moving. You don't have to wait for me. I got plenty of things I can show you too, hopefully. Okay. So we just made our group. It's up top, right? We're going to come in here. We're going to double click inside that group. right? We know we're inside this actual group because of the little dotted box around it. Then we're going to select that first tread. What are we going to do? Yeah, what's the difference between a component and a group? In your own words. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So we're going to make this one a component so we can use it over and over again and then make changes if we need to. Okay. So make component, we'll just call it stair one. Right? Anything. You can type in whatever you want. Ooh. Just got a note. I'm in trouble. Got to see the principal. Just kidding. T is at 10:45. We got to get this done. Yeah. All right. So we just made a component. Yes. Then we're going to double click inside that component. Yeah. So we're inside that group, inside that component. P for push. And now watch. Yep. So let's just lift it up. The neat thing about push pull, right? If you click once and then you let go, right? Then it's asking you for input. Yeah. This little number down at the bottom says, how high do you want to do it? Yeah. So then you can actually just type in whatever number you want, right? So that'll be, what are we doing? 0.15 for our riser. Enter. Yes. Perfect. Okay. Now we got a component. Look at it. Looks so nice. We're going to delete these other faces. We don't need you guys, right? So you can do delete. You can, of course, select things, then hit the delete button, or you can hit E for erase. Then you can kind of float around and easily erase things too. Yeah. Now, look, here's another little trick. If you're having a hard time, like you're seeing a bunch of stuff underneath or behind, and you're like, what am I working on? And it's having a hard time seeing it. We can go to View, Component Edit, and you have two options. You can say hide similar components. That's if you have a lot of copies of a block and you just want to edit one without having to look at all of them change. You'll see that later in the workshop. Or you can hide the rest of the model so it's easy to see what you're working on. Okay. So watch. Let's click hide rest of model. See? Right? So now we're just working on this one area. Yeah. And that's real easy to undo. You just go to View, Component Edit, and you could unclick that hide rest of model. It doesn't change the model at all. Just when you're working inside of a component, a group, or a component, it'll hide the rest of it. Yeah. So it's helpful. Everybody tracking with that? Good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to make it easy for you guys to see what I'm doing, right? Hide rest of model. Now, how many risers do we need? Oh, actually, that didn't work too good because I can't see where I'm starting. So I'm going to uncheck that. A lot of times, depending on what I'm doing, I'm turning that on and off. You know, it's just an option of being able, when I'm working on something, if it's getting confusing, I'm not sure what I'm clicking, I will cycle through that. Okay. So, but let's stay here. Let's snag that component we just made inside here. M for move. I'm going to drop down. Here we go. I'm going to click the corner once. Now it's asking me to move it, right? Snag it. I'm just going to drop it straight down to there. Yeah. Yeah. Then I'm going to grab it again from that same location. Click once. While I'm still in the move command, I'm going to hit Control. That's going to make a copy of it. Yeah. I'm going to do that again by hitting Control. And then do it right there. Okay. The neat thing about that copy command is if I'm making another one, right, I can hit copy or I'm making hit Control and it'll make a copy. And then I'm like, oh, I don't need it. You can just hit Control again and it'll go away. Okay. Now, if you guys are sharing computers, yeah, then then do do this once, move some of the things, and then let the other person drive too. Yeah, because it's really helpful to have your hand on the mouse. So you're like, oh, and now I know exactly what I'm doing. Watching somebody do it is helpful, but when you do it too, it can be good. Yeah, cool. That's also the nice thing about having the video. You guys can go back and watch it. So I'm going to make sure you guys get that before I leave. Okay, so we just made those stairs. We're going to grab the. Oh, everybody done with the stairs? Good, close. Where are you? Instead of the stair? Okay, did you make the component correctly? Yeah. Okay, this might be happening. Let me look at this, right? Yes, this is probably your issue. Okay, watch, guys. I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see it. When you're making a component, you have to, this is the dialog box that comes up, right? You see this little checkbox at the bottom? If that is not checked, then it's going to make a component in the file, but it's not going to make what you just made into a component, right? I don't think I've ever used that. So I always have this box checked. Okay. Okay. So if you made a component and then you're like, wait, it's not there. It's because it made a component in your file, but it's like accessible in your file, but it didn't actually make what you selected into that component. Okay. So you can just go back, just Control Z back a little bit, and then start with that and make that face. Yeah. Yeah. Or make the face into a component. Right? You know that. You probably learned it the hard way, right? Like, where is it? I do that. Like, anytime I get new on a new computer, I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Yeah. Okay. Everyone got some stairs coming along? Good. All right. I'm going to grab this guy, M for move, drag it down. Oops. I'm going to go ahead and make it a component or a group. Make group, M for move, drop it down to the bottom. Boom. There's our landing. Yeah. How are the stairs coming? Yeah. Not good. What's your issue right here in the middle? Madam, Miss. What's going on? What's not working? Not sure. All right. So hey, go back to just the group. Are you able to select the face? Yeah or no? Yes. So you can select the face, and then you right click while you're hovering over it. Caleb, can you go see what she's doing? Who else is having issues? What I can talk you through some of it. Good. If you're good, what are you doing next? And if you're really good, don't waste your time here. Keep coming over here. You got a whole set of stairs you got to do over here. Yeah. And you're probably going to be paid. Well, you might be paid per hour. Do you get paid per hour or do you get paid a salary when you're hired here? Yeah, salary. And then they work you on the weekends, right? I always got paid per hour. I was like, no, I need to get paid per hour because I know you're going to work me 60 hours a week or 70 hours a week. The nice thing is people were willing to do that. So then when I was pulling weekends, nights, they would do it, but it all depends. Don't get frustrated. Don't worry. We got it. All right, back up. What would you do? Start from the beginning. What didn't work? Did you select the face? Okay, did you make it? Oh, we should be working on these. Go over there. Let me go see some. So Control Z. It looks like you have something there. All that stuff. Okay, that's not bad. Zoom in. You can draw the line. All these things should be in the same group. Like a separate group. It's zoom out. So I want you to put this on a separate platform, right? It's probably be in high. Yes, because if you have select, you're trying to select that high. Okay, you do it on the highest. Zoom into there. Now select on this. Make sure it's all faces. Either make faces or draw lines that are all together. And you double click on each face. Playing down control, select them together. How we doing? Getting some stairs? Anybody still really stuck? Ask now. Yeah. Caleb is making the rounds. His Swahili is so much better than mine. But my English is okay. Yours is great. Huh? 1.5? 1.2. I can survive in Spanish. Si quieres, puedo aprender enseñar en español. Bueno. Sí, pero yo hablo como un cavernícola, which means I speak like a caveman. Yeah, cavernícola. A little bit, yeah. So I've spent some time in Central America and Mexico. So at one point I could converse quite well, but I don't use it very much. My wife's actually fairly fluent in Spanish. So when I tell her I want to come to Africa, she's like, "What? I speak Spanish." But she would be excited to learn Swahili because you get a couple of countries with Swahili. Like when I lived in Uganda, it was like I learned some Lugandan, right? But I was like, that was like only Kampala, and then everything, it was like Luero was like just a little way down the road, like completely different language. So anyway, okay. So let's keep going. We're gonna break for tea in a minute, but I want you guys to all get your stairs in there, yeah? That is your goal. So watch, if you're here with your stairs, right? We need another set of stairs down here. We calculated it. We looked at 16 down to 15, 4, it's 0.6. 4 risers, right? If they're 0.15 each, yes? Right? Is that yes? Okay. So we need 4 risers. We've got 3 right here, but we're just going to make this the thickness of a riser too, right? So we're going to come here, push, pull on this guy. Oops. I need to be inside this little group I just made. Push, drop that down 0.15. Enter. Okay. So now that has some thickness. Then I can grab these guys. 1, 2, 3. Holding down Control. I can hit M for move. Click here. Now I hit down Control. Boom. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 risers, right?
Yeah.
So then I can delete these ones up here that I've got. Cleaning those up. Then I could actually just come over here. I don't even need this guy because he's not correct. Oops. The easiest way to delete all those faces is to 1, 2, 3, triple click, got all of them, delete. Okay. Now I've got my stairs, and I want to connect that down here. Now I know this is 2 meters wide, so I could come down here and start. I can make it inside this group, right? Or I can make it inside this group. It doesn't matter. So I could select this one, L for line. We'll start up here. Actually, I want to make sure that I have the right distance over here. So I'm going to make sure that I have a like where I'm connecting this to there. Yeah. Should be 2 meters from this corner. Yeah. Click here, hover along that line, type in 2, enter. And that's going to give me 2 meters from there. Then I can click on this, go to there. Boom. Now have a nice sloped walk right there. Hot dog, that's good. Okay. How was that? Good? Tracking? Got it? Do the other stairs yet? Did you do the other stairs yet? You got them done? So I want to know what the slope of this walk is. Is it under 5%? Can you measure what the slope of this walk is for me? You know how to do it, right? Rise over run. Yeah. So you can just use the tape measure. But remember, when you're measuring that, you don't want to measure along the length like this, yeah? That'll be incorrect. You want to go straight out like that. You come to here, and you can figure out what that is, yeah? Do that for the other one too. I want them, when I designed it in imperial units, I had it underneath 5% because you don't want to ram. So let me know if I'm correct, yeah? On both of those. Because if I'm not correct, if I'm not correct, it's over 5%. How did that? Easiest way to lessen this slope is what? Add another horizon. Easy to do that in 3D and figure things out. That's what I have to do. Okay, so we got a small break. You can take it if you want. If you're not here, then keep going. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I guess I'll go take tea, but I'll be back 15 minutes. Yeah, maybe just 10, because we're just getting rolling, right? Is 10 minutes okay? You want 15? Okay. You want 12? Should we do 12? Show of hands for 15. Show of hands for 10. Okay, we'll do 10. I'm just kidding. We'll do 15. I'm even going to set a timer, so I'm back on time. All right, but look, while you're taking tea, you could make sure that you're catching up with this, yeah? If you've already built all the stairs and you're saying, gosh, this is so slow, I want to know what the slope of this walk is. I want you to calculate it. Tell me what it is. Because when I designed it, it should be less than 5%. It's not, we need to fix it. Okay? This one, once you build your steps, build them here, and then go build your stairs here, yeah? Build both sets of stairs. If you're, I mean, if you're like waiting for me, yeah. If you're not waiting for me and you're just getting your stairs done, you can do it, all right? And then if you have a little bit more time, tell me what percentage slope these are. And if they're under 5%, good. If they're over 5%, you might need to add a license. Drop the slope, right? So. Okay. So I've got my line work down here. I've already built this up here, but this walk also needs some stairs, right? This one right here needs some stairs, not just a straight slope. So I'm going to delete that. Oops. Just want to delete the walk. So I'm going to delete that guy. I have my plaza over here and my landing over there. Snag all these guys. But I'm not going to bring that one up because that's going to be a sloped walk, which we'll draw in last. So I want to make this a group, right click, make group. Here's my group, M for move. Select one of these points, lock it straight up with the up arrow. I'm going to bring it to here. And then my drop is 16.5 down to 15.7. So how many risers is that? 16.5 divided by, what did I say? 15.7, right? It's 1 meter drop. Oops, wait, that's wrong. 16.5 minus 15.7.8 divided by 0.15. Should have 5 risers, yeah? A little bit less than, or a little bit more than 5 risers. So we'll do 5. Everybody tracking with that, right? I don't know how many I have in here. We might have to add them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we need to add 1, right? But that's easy, especially if I'm just copying these over, right? So I've already made these. Is it the same width? Let me see. Yeah. It is, right? 2 meters? Yeah. Perfect. If it wasn't, I can show you how to take those components, make them unique so they're still a component, and then you could change just those and they wouldn't change all the other components. So that's kind of helpful. I'll show you how to do that on these other ones where we have a bunch of stairs, yeah? That way we can kind of streamline it, make it quick. So I'm going to double click in here. We're going to copy. I'm actually just going to come over and grab these guys and copy them over, right? Might have to add a few more. But if I come here and grab this, I'm holding down control. So I double click inside the group, snag that guy, select. So if you don't know it and you're in another command, like if you're in the draw command and you want to go back to the selection tool, instead of having to come up here and click that little button, you just hit the space bar. So space bar is your shortcut for selection, okay? So your left thumb is always on the space bar, right? Because no matter what you're going to, if I'm doing a race, if I'm erasing things, I can always, from eraser, hit space bar and go back to my selection tool, which is one of the main tools I'm going to use, right? So I'm going to get in here, double click, snag these guys. Holding down control allows me to select multiple. M for move. I'll grab this corner. Oh, watch this though. This is good. Everybody watch this. So you guys know how to move things and copy them, but watch this, yes? Watch me real quick, guys. All right, so look, I've selected these, yeah? So I'm going to hit M for move. Well, look, I'll back up real quick. I double click inside the group. So I'm inside. I can actually select the different components, right? Select one component, hold down control, 2, 3. I've got 3 of them. M for move, right? Now I can do this. What button do I press to make it a copy? Control. What if I don't want to make the copy? What button do I push? Control again. Okay, so you can toggle it on and off. Isn't that nice? Good job, SketchUp. Right, now watch, I'm moving it because I don't want to have to redo these silly stairs, right? but look, it's at the wrong angle. Yeah. So, or I'm sorry, it's in the wrong orientation. Yeah. So watch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to hit Q for rotate. All right. Q is a shortcut for rotate. I don't know why. I would think it would be R. But R is rectangle. So it is what it is. You can change them, but I don't. I just remember because a lot of them are on my left hand and they're really easy to do with my left hand while I'm running the mouse. Yeah. So I just hit Q for rotate. Now look, this is the rotate command. Watch me real quick, guys, because you might already know this stuff, but I want to teach you some fun things about rotate, right? So look, when you first hit Q or this is also the little rotate thing right here. Yeah. It brings up this little compass, right? So you can actually change things. Like you can, it'll hover around. And look, SketchUp's going to try to guess what you want to move or what you want to rotate. Yeah. But what I like to do is before I jump into the rotate command, I want to make sure I've selected what I want, right? So what's my shortcut to get back to the selection tool? Space bar. I'm going to select one, hold down Control, 2, 3. Then I'm going to hit Q. Right? Now, check this out. I can come over here. I want to rotate right here on this corner. Yeah. But also, look, just like you use the up arrows to lock on axes, you can do the same thing here, right? So if I wanted to rotate this way, I could click there, right? And I can rotate it that way. Yeah. Oops. And if you control Z too far, you can control Y. Okay. And that's back, right? Control Z is undo. Control Y is to move forward. Okay. So look, but I'm still in my rotate command. I need to reselect these. I'm going to hit space bar, 1, 2, 3, Q for rotate. Now, the cool thing about this, you can do a lot of things within the rotate command. You can lock axes by using your arrows. See how it's cycling through, right? So you can choose which way you rotate things based on that, right? So I want to lock it. I want to rotate this thing on my Z axis, so it's going to look blue. Yeah. Then I'm going to click on that corner and I'm going to click it once and look, then it's going to say, what angle do you want to start to rotate from, right? So I'm going to say, I want to click. So it's asking me, what angle. I'm going to come over here and click on that end, right? So you can see I'm starting here. The first thing I'm going to do is going to click there because I want to rotate this whole thing like that, right? So once I click there, now it starts to rotate, yeah? Right? You can do that. I generally don't. But so now you can actually type in an angle, right? We're in a command, you actually type in if you know the angle you want. I have something to line it up with, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to rotate it and line it up, yeah? But also, so watch, I could come over here and I could just rotate it around and click it right there, yeah? But then also the cool thing is there's another option at the bottom, right? It says control equals toggle copy, right? So if I wanted to, I could say, I actually want to hit control, then I've got 2 of them, right? Isn't that great? So then if I'm doing something, I could actually do multiple copies at certain angles, right? Oops. Control Y, we're back. Okay, Q, click here, click there where I'm starting, bring it around to there, and we're good, right? Now, it looks like this is actually outside of this group I just made, right? So watch. I want these stairs to be in this group. You can tell they're not in the group because this is gray and that's white, right? So I'm gonna reselect these guys, spacebar back to selection. 1, 2, 3, holding down control. I'm gonna hit Control X. That's cut, yeah? You can also go edit cut, but I just like Control X, right? I'm gonna double click inside the group I want it to be in. Edit, paste in place, okay? Good. Isn't that great? Right there inside. So now you could do that with a lot of things. If you're working on a team, right? And you guys start with the same model, as long as you don't move that model around spatially, you can have somebody else over here working on all the trellises and you're over here working on the pool. And then you say, all right, bring it over, copy, paste in place into that model. Boom, right in the same place. Yeah, because SketchUp geolocates or spatially locates, depending on how you do it, to that same location. So you can do edit, paste, and place. So I've done it with whole models from edit, pasting, and placing together with teammates. Okay. So that's a really nice command, right? Or I guess it's like multiple commands, but all right. So I'm going to delete these guys. Don't need them. Oops. Don't need that. There's also a face above that. I'm going to delete that guy. Oh yeah, but now how many risers did I say I needed? 5? How many was it? Was it 5? Yeah. Thank you. Confirmed? Because I don't remember. So we'll go ahead and move. Let's move this down. We'll double click in here. Push this down 0.15, right? And then I'll snag those stairs I just put here. Move down to there, right? So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Still need another one. M for move, select there, copy to there, right? So the landing is going to get a little bit shorter, right? But a lot of times when I'm doing hand drawing, depending on how fast I'm doing it, every time I do an iteration in either SketchUp or CAD, I'm getting more and more accurate, right? Because by hand, I'm like, oh, maybe it takes, I just drew those lines. I was like, oh, I think it takes 4 risers, right? And I might calculate it and get it close depending on how detailed it is. Or I might, if the client's walking into the room and I have to do the presentation, I might just go, there's going to be stairs there. I know that. I don't know how many risers, but at least I indicate some stairs, right? Because he might come in and be like, I don't want any stairs. I want this whole thing done as ramps. Yeah. So early concept, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm going to get it to where it needs to be because the design is going to keep evolving and getting more and more correct, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So cool. So we got that guy. Right. I'll delete these guys off the side. And then what I would do, probably just delete this. Oops. And then I'm going to move these guys down. There's a couple ways to do this, right? But what I'd probably do is just grab these guys. Lots of ways to do this. And I would just move them all down to the bottom of that riser, right? How do I lock it to the vertical axis? Up arrow, right? So I'm in the move command, bring it down to here, right? And then I know that if I draw a rectangle here to there, to there, and now have a flat walk, yeah? Technically, if I was going to build it, I'd slope it at 1%. But I'm early iteration, just getting this model done so I can study it, right? Okay. Then I need to do a little bit more math here, right? Oops. If you're having issues, remember, if you're having issues with this image, like if I'm trying to select this and it won't let me do it because it keeps selecting the image, you can see how the image is selected. Remember, we have a couple of options to hide that, or you can just make sure you come outside of that image and you can select some of the line work and it'll get you inside that group, right? So I just need to actually just delete this one because I know where it's going, but I just need to see the spot elevation underneath this, right? So I'll delete that. We're at 15.1 bottom of stair from 15.7, 0.6 drop, right? How many risers is that? 0.6 drops is 4 risers, right? At 0.15. So I would just come in here, probably just delete all those guys. Then I'd grab 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have a choice here, right? M for move, hit control. Now look, I could add another tread out here, or I can add the thickness right there. Maybe the more true thing to do would be to just make this 0.14 or 0.15 thick, 0.15. And then I could grab, so that would be 1 riser, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just need 3 of these guys. M for move. over to there to right there. All right, so now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Right. And then over here, look, I need to make sure that this thing is, I'm going to connect these up. I'm going to make sure that on this plaza, I have a line that I can go. So if I look at the plan, this should be 2 meters wide. 2 meters wide right here, right? So I want to make sure I can draw that line over when I'm connecting the walk. So I'll come to this corner, look there, draw over. Right now it's helping me stick to the line. I'm just hovering over it. And I type in 2, right? And then that should be right there. Then I can start from there, slope up, boom, boom. Nice. Look at this. Okay, cool. How was that? Was that good? Yes.
Exactly. Both of them are in the same.
These in the same?
Yes, the other side.
Oh yeah, so this is one giant component?
Both of them, yes.
Yep.
Both of them, like that one.
This whole thing?
One, yes.
And this whole thing in the same?
Okay, so
Just the stairs?
yes, this is the.
Uh-huh.
I think in one component.
Yep, yep.
Now one.
Separated.
Yeah, I'm separated.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have one component here and one here, or maybe one. One here.
Right now, currently.
Yeah.
One, both of them are one kind of.
Yes.
So with.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so a couple ways. If you've already made it, there's 2 ways to do it, or probably more. So if it's all one component, you can just explode it, right? Now, the question is, if this is all one component, is this one component within that? Because yeah, so each one of these, so because you can make components within components, right? So you could make, so each one of these is a component, right? And then you can make that into a component. Like you could say stair risers, like you have stair riser and you have like stair set, right? So you can do that, but if they're all in the same one, you can just explode it. Because yeah. So you can explode it, or you can go in and like cut them out of it. You can do Control X, come out of the group, and then paste into place, and then it'll be outside the group. So try that, yeah? Because that's a good process to know. Okay, show of thumbs. Who's got all their stairs done? Okay, coming along. How are we looking? Yeah.
These steps.
Yep.
You have a land along.
Yeah.
But I can stay.
Yeah. Well, and technically, you should have a level spot everywhere there's a landing, or 2% landing. But in this model, I generally don't even do that. all I do is from my stairs. So I'll pull this up and then from my stairs, I go click, 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 and I do from contours. So I just warp it a little bit, you know. I mean, it all depends, right? If it was construction level, I'd be making sure everywhere this length, everywhere that comes in, it's 2% length, right? Or something close to that. I mean, yeah, you just don't want to come into like 5% wall, right? Yeah. Hey, did that work? Okay. All right, here we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to import all of the walls, okay? What is this ugly little line I've got here? Okay, so hopefully you have this or something close to it, right? Now watch. Remember when I did all of that CAD drafting for you guys? And so we have a CAD block that has all of the closed polyline walls on it, okay? So we're going to import that. How do we do that? File, import, yeah? I just want to open this one up so I can also talk about how I created this, because going back and forth between CAD and SketchUp is so helpful. Where's the one I finished? This one will work. Because look, so on every one of these, right? I'm going to freeze these. Oh, here's a good little thing I can talk about when we talk about blocks, right? So every one of these is the same entity over and over, yeah? These are all my agapanthus, right? These are all my Ruellia, yeah? Whatever. Bird paradise, right? And these are my the small trees, big trees, right? So every one of these represents the same thing. The cool thing is we're going to bring them into SketchUp, and then we're going to put a 3D plant in it, and then it's going to populate the whole drawing. Every one of those entities is going to pop up in 3D. Yeah, it's going to be great. So that's where we're headed. I'm going to freeze all those for now. So, but look, so we already brought in all of our hardscape, right? But you see all of these walls, right? Can you guys see them? A little bit. So each one of these walls is a closed polyline, right? Look, I got cheek walls coming down the stairs, right? Do you guys call them cheek walls? Yes? No? Retaining walls? Yeah. I don't know why they call them cheek walls. But anyway, so wherever the stairs are, we're going to need some walls, right? To make sure the grade doesn't get too steep and it gets all eroded, okay? So what I did is I put those on a separate layer and they're all closed polylines. So I can isolate that. And you see all those? Now, if I were going to bring that into SketchUp, what could I do after that to easily start modeling with those? I could do make faces, right? And all of those should turn into a push and pull face that I can work with, yeah? And then we have a bunch of really quickly done walls that we can start pushing and pulling into 3D and working with our stairs, okay? So let's do that. We're going to do our walls next. Then we'll work with those little by little. Okay, so we're back in SketchUp, right? We're going to go to File, Import. right? And then you're going to navigate back to the files for students day one, CAD, blocks. And now this time I want you to snag the one that says walls, right? Say import. Close. Okay, now should look like this. You should have all of these polylines in here. Yes. File, import. Navigate to the CAD blocks. And you should have all of these, right? As long as you didn't change any settings from yesterday in terms of units, you should be good to go, right? All right, now look. The nice thing is, look, I put those, you see this? This is the actual CAD we just imported, yeah? You can see that. You can see that I actually drew on this same layer the backs of these buildings so that I can make sure that it's all going to line up well, yeah? See that? When you imported it, it should have dropped right there in the correct location, yes? If it isn't, we still have a way of lining it up. Everybody tracking? Everybody got this? File import, right? Okay, now watch. We're going to double click inside that group. We're inside the group. These are the things that are the only things that were inside the group are those things that are not grayed back. We're going to select them all. You can do that by clicking up here and holding down your finger and dragging it, right? There's two ways of doing selection in SketchUp. If you go this way, probably hard to see in the back, but anything it's touching, it'll select. If you click and move and hold the button down and move to the right, anything completely in that window will be selected, okay? So we get to here, select all those, right? And then what command are we going to use? Tools, make faces. Hopefully, you get a whole assortment of already made walls, right? See those? If some of them came in as gray versus white, all that means is that the face is reversed. No big deal. You can just click on that face, right click, reverse faces. Cool. Did it work? I got one in the back. Okay. Now watch this. This is going to get fun. So every one of these, a lot of times I make them all into groups, but I just kind of start working my way through it because some of these things I can make into components and copy them across the whole thing. Yeah. Because I'm going to have the same stairs and walls for a lot of these like buildings coming out. Look, there's 2 risers on each one of these, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So if I can actually just make a component with some stairs, I can actually just copy them all the way across. Right? But here, let's do this first one. We're going to do this big round one. The arced one on the edge of the plaza. Yeah? Everybody tracking? All right, so let's zoom into this guy. Did your make faces work? Yes. Wasn't all that hassle worth it? Remember yesterday when we tried to get that thing loaded? It's very good. I'm sure there's other ones, but kind of hard to. Do you have one that what do you use? Yeah, it's the same one, right? Yeah, by Smuster. Yeah, because the other ones I've tried 2 or 3 different ones, but you always have to like I get a trial, then I have to pay for it. It's mustard, man. You guys amazing. Okay, ready? So all right, so zoom in with me to this curved wall. Yes. First pause and greet the professor here coming in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See you. Okay. So zoom into this round one, right? And what are we gonna do? I want you to make it a group. How do you make it a group? What do? Double click on it, right? So all of it's blue, highlighted, right click, make group. Yes. Okay. Just on the big, we're gonna do the big rounded one together because that one's gonna be the most fun. Wait, did you import the walls? Are they there? Did the faces make? Did you double click inside the group so you're selecting all the line work? Yeah, you got to be inside the group. All right, let's roll. Ready? So look, we just made that group. Watch this. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go wall by wall, and we'll talk about how to work with them. Okay. But you can tell that that wall is not in that group, right? So how could I get it into that group to work with it? Yes, edit, paste in place. Exactly. But first, watch this. Let's move it down. It should be lined up. Let's see if I imported it correctly. So once I made a group, M for move, grab this corner right over here, or a corner. Lock it to the up-down axis, right? With your up arrow, and bring it down. Does it line up straight down? Boom. That is nice, right? Gosh, we could just build this thing right now. Okay. Did that work for you guys? It's about to get real, people. Okay, we're good right there. Then we're gonna watch. Then we're gonna cut that thing out. We're gonna bring it back into this group over here that we're working, right? Control X, cut. You can escape to get out of that group. Escape. Sorry, yeah, escape, escape, right? And then double click inside this group. So we can make sure you're inside that group, right? Because it's easier to just to work with things in the same group, right? I'm gonna edit, paste in place. Boom. Right? Okay. Edit, paste in place, right? Then we're gonna double click into this guy. How tall is the seat wall? If I want to sit on something, how tall is it? 450, right? 45. We're in meters here, so 0.45, right? So I'm going to double click in here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to P for push, click once. Now I'm pushing and pulling this wall up, right? So the top of the wall is going to be 0.45 tall, right? Oh, look at this. The client is going to be so excited, right? Now, also, we'll have to figure out, this is a retaining wall, right? If you look down here at the grades, we're at 17. Then look, our top, the top of the wall is actually 17.5. It's a little tall, huh? We can do that though. I think 450 is better than 500, right? Especially for the, short people. I'm not going to name names, right? Short people, children maybe, right? We'll keep it at 4.5, okay? Once again, my hand-drawn plan, I'm drawing that thing quickly, right? Now I'm getting more and more detailed. I'm like, okay, technically I said 0.5 to keep it easy. Now I'm going to do 0.45, right? But let's look below that. Check this out. This is what I want us to see. Look, if the plaza's at 17, the bottom of wall over here, we have a top wall at 17.5, and then look, we're dropping full meter down to the bottom of wall, right? It's going to be a slight retaining wall. Does that make sense? It does make sense, right? If it doesn't, I'll draw you a quick section right here. What we got, we have our plaza right here, yep. Here's me. Who's this? Holland, okay? Here we are, we're walking together. Oh my gosh, how many kids? Oh, no kids today, okay? So look, I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, that's great. So watch, so this is the plaza, right? Hey guys, listen real quick, pause. So here's our plaza, right? So we have a retaining wall that's doing this, yeah? Or we have a seat wall doing that, right? This is 450, right? But then what it's saying, this elevation is at what, 17, right? This is at 17.45, right? It said 50, but we changed it because we want to be more accurate, right? Then our bottom wall is over here at what? 16.5. Okay, does that make sense? So it's retaining because you'll see when I initially designed this, I didn't want it to be, this thing was getting really steep, yeah? And I wanted it to be more of a gradual slope, so I made this wall retain some slope so I could lower it down a little bit, okay? So that's what we'll model that. But we'll get to the actual surface in a minute. All I want you to do is right here, we already pulled it up 0.45, right? So then from this level right here, where the bottom is, how far down do we need to go? From 17 down to the bottom of wall, 16.5? 0.5, right? Because the plaza is at 17 and the bottom wall is only half a meter down. Yeah, it might actually need to be a little bit more than that, but let's do half a meter for now, okay? That's the cool thing about SketchUp is like, I designed it thinking that 0.5 would work, right? But then once we modeled that 10, we're like, well, I think it should actually be lower than that so that the slope isn't so great, right? You'll see. All right, so let's come under here. We're going to grab the bottom of this, push, pull. I'm still in this. If you're not in that group, double click inside the group. Get all the way in there so you can select one of the faces. Push, pull. Oops. Click once. And then we're going to drop it down. Now, some of you guys might have this issue where if you click and then pull, right? If you do that, then you can't actually enter in the number. So when I say click release, you're just clicking real quick and releasing. But because if sometimes SketchUp sometimes you could just push on it and then pull it up, just kind of eyeball it. But I seldom do that. So there's actually a setting you can do to change it. But if you're running into that, where if you click on it and then you actually like click it too long, it'll pull it down a little bit. Yeah. So click really quick, and then you're in the command and you can actually enter in the number. That'll be 0.5, right? So now look at this, right? Now we're starting to understand what's going on here, right? We've got our seat wall up here. I could come over, I could sit down right on this wall with Molly, and I could look down over this beautiful garden of Wedelia and Ruelia and Agapanthus. Okay, cool. Is that good? Right? 2 thumbs. Okay. What happened? Where? Oh. You got lost on this part? Yeah. All I did was just grab that face on it, right? If I control Z back, right? So we pulled it down here, and then we just need to, like, according to the grading, it says we just need to drop it down 0.5, right? But we're going to use this as a design tool also, not just as a modeling tool. So we'll study if 0.5 is enough. Yeah. So it might need to be more depending on how we want that slope to look. Cool. Oh my goodness, this thing's coming along, right? Let's do some more walls, yeah? Now look, a lot of these Look at, see these other walls we got up here? Some of these are just, you know, small retaining walls. We call them cheek walls. I don't know why. Cheek walls. Isn't that weird? I was like, why? I don't know. Cheek, literally cheek walls. Look at this. See? Do you guys call them cheek walls? Yeah. So, but I like looking at these images because in 3D, you have to decide what your walls are doing, right? Is your wall starting here and coming out? Or is it following grade coming down? We're gonna study both of those options, okay? Yep. You can study that in your construction document. So look, this one comes straight out, right? Straight out right here. Versus actually following the slope down, yeah? So this will cost more material, right? You'll have a taller wall, but depending on the aesthetic, it can look nice. You have options, okay? But let's jump back in here. So we've got our stairs model over here, and we've got a model over here, right? Now look at this one. First ones we're going to do are these ones over here. We're just going to do these cheek walls on the very north side, okay? So the second set of stairs we made on the north side, we're going to bring these walls down, yeah? Let's do it. So let's double click back in that group, right? And they're already components. I'm sorry, they're already faces. But I'm going to go ahead and grab all of these, triple click. I'm holding down control, triple click, what you need. Oh, here, sorry. I have about 50 of them left. All right, so I'm going to select all those, and just for ease, I'm going to make that all into one group, yeah? And then what am I going to do with it? I'll move it down, right? Or we're going to move it so it lines up with our stairs down there and our walk. Look, I don't know why it's so high. It's generally on the ground plane, but I evidently accidentally made them in elevation, which doesn't really matter. But if I lock it to the up arrow, I can click on the top of that, where that landing is, yeah? Oh, man. We are getting somewhere now, right? You guys know where we're headed. To a great landscape. Hey, my stair people. How's it coming? Almost there? Perfect. I'll circle back on some of these walls with you guys, yeah? Hey, can you just walk back and check on people? I'm probably boring you to tears, yeah? Hey, how about my wall people? Are we good? Are you guys with me on this? Okay, cool. So you just dropped them down. Okay. So what are we going to do now? We have a couple of options, right? We could make them components, right? But watch, what I would do, so this is a group now. What I'm going to do is I know that I want these two walls to be the exact same, right? Whatever I do to them, I want them to be the same because they're right next to each other, yeah? So watch, so I'm going to, yeah, just these top two right here. I could just, we have a lot of options. I could jump in here. I could just start pushing and pulling these down. Boom, wall, right? And then I could come over here. I could grab this, push, pull this down to there. Boom. Cheek walls, right? Right? But that's too much work. Watch this. We're going to go back. And because you guys know what a component is, right? We're going to do this because we're going to do a lot of fun things with these walls. I'm going to double click this, triple click so I have all the stuff. Right click, make component, right? I'm going to say wall 01. Yep. Okay. Now this is a component. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it over to here. So I have that same entity right here. Yeah. So actually, watch, what I could do is I can either delete this now or delete it later. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. You're out, right? I'm going to grab this guy, M for move, click there, Control for copy. See how it's automatic? SketchUp's so great for lining things up, right? it's giving me that green line saying, do you want to move along here? And I do, or it'll give me a red line to move it here, but we want to move it right along here. I'm going to click there. Now, are you ready? This is the fun of components, right? Double click in there, keep going until you're inside. Push, we're going to pull that thing all the way down. And then I've got two of them, right? Now, I prefer my walls to be slightly above grade, right at the top of the stair, yeah? So I'm going to pull this up maybe 6 inches, right? So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to pull it up maybe, well, let's look at 0.15, yeah? Right, so that's 6 inches, 0.15, same as my riser. Isn't that nice? Oh my goodness. And look, while I was doing that, everything I did happened over here, yeah? So nice. Okay? Yep. Now, I technically don't need the wall all the way back here. I just need it a little bit beyond where my stair is, but I like how this wall interacts with the edge of this walk. So I'm going to keep it. Right? Now, so there, we just made some cheek walls, right? You guys don't call them cheek walls. What do you guys call them? They're cheek walls. Aren't they? Well, aren't they cheek walls? Yes, I mean, honestly, that was, yeah, look, if you Google cheek walls, that's what you get. Isn't that funny? I guess, but it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, couldn't we call them stair walls or something? Cheek walls? Anyway, we could dive down why they're called cheek walls. I don't know. Call them whatever you want. I want you to know how to model them and design them, okay? Retaining walls. They're stair retaining walls, right? Now watch this, guys. So this is a lot more material than we need, right? It looks nice. I actually like kind of doing this where you bring the wall out. You know, it can, especially depending on the material, can look really nice. But watch this. Let's have some fun with this one. And they're components, so it's going to do it both sides, yeah? Watch what I'm doing, yeah? I'm going to double click inside this. And I want there to be a slope break starting right here. And then I want to slope this thing down, yeah? So let's do that. There's a couple ways we can do it, but I'm inside the component. I can select on parts of it. I'm going to use the line command to measure this up right there. And then I'm going to draw that line from here over to there, okay? And remember, anytime in SketchUp that you draw a line in the same group, it's going to create two separate, it's going to break that geometry, right? Can you see that that's blue now? Blue and blue? It breaks the line, yeah? So what that's going to let me do, and I can actually erase this one down here. I don't need it. But what it's going to allow me to do is come over here, grab the front of this wall with my select tool, M for move. I can click that, and I can lock it to the vertical. Right? Right? But what I'll do, if I wanted to be correct, I'd come and measure off this bottom one, and I'd get that slope exact. But right now, I'm just going to eyeball it, okay? So look, like, oh, and this one copied it. Look at those cheek walls. Okay? Do you guys see how I did that? Yeah? Oh, let's do it again. Okay. Hey, my wall people, do you guys see how I did that? Listen, you don't have to update your Facebook status right now, okay? Everyone knows you're at the workshop, yeah? Or are you doing your B-reel? Do you guys do that B-reel? All my students do this silly app that and during the day it's like B-reel. And it like there's a timer and then they have to take pictures of exactly what they're doing right then. I was like, put your phone down. Put your phone down and be real with me here. All right. Now, everybody, have you guys made some walls? Can I just do the same thing with these next walls here, or should I back up? Back up? Did you guys need help with this wall, don't you? Are all your stairs in? How do they look? Now, after you spent the 30 minutes making the stairs, did you hit save on your document? Hit save right now. Otherwise, you'll be remaking it if you lose it. Yeah. And then you'll say, oh, Professor Adea, I lost my work. I don't know what happened. And he'll be like, no way. When Professor Berglund was here, he told you to save your work. No leniency. Yeah. Okay. Let's make this wall again. Yeah. The round one. You other guys, other people, I expect some beautiful cheek walls right here. Yeah. What's that? You don't know the slope? How can you calculate it though? What? What, you have them in there, right? Oh, that's fine. But you don't know how to do that. You want me to just show you that part real quick? Okay. That's easy. Let's do that. So my these people, those who just finished their stairs, yeah? Stair people and wall people. So right here, have you guys made this? Have you imported it and lined it up? Yeah, actually, when you import it, it should line up. Yeah. Did you make faces? Oh, good. Did you bring it down to the thing? Yeah. What's that? Go ahead and bring it down, and then I'm gonna real quick show my wall people how to slope this. You guys can watch this too, right? So look, I'm gonna Control Z back. Look, you're right here, yeah, and your client's like, all of these walls that you made cost too much money, and you're like, hey, I can understand that. I got a solution. I'm gonna reduce the amount of material, and it's gonna save us some money, right? We're gonna change, instead of just going straight out, we're gonna drop those down. And they're going to follow grade, right? So watch. The thing about SketchUp, this is the cool thing. Watch this. I'm going to make the angle, right? You could just come in and grab that angle, just that line, just selecting that blue line up front, right? I could hit move, but I don't have a break line right here. It's going to move this whole face down. Watch. So I selected there, and then I'm going to hit M for move. Click here. And then look, if I move down, the whole wall goes down, yeah? If I want it to go straight vertical down, I'm going to hit the up arrow and lock it on the axis. Yeah. Well, look, they're both doing it. Isn't that great? They're like waving. I'm here. Okay. So that's not going to work, right? We actually need to come up here. So that's why I drew this line in the middle, right? All I did was draw this line up and then over. So it would have a break point, right? Then I erase that line. See what I mean? All right, so I can control where that thing's going to drop, right? I'm going to select this again, M for move, pick there. Right? And both of these are components, so they're doing the same thing. Oh, look at this though. Right? Okay, but if it's wobbling like this and you don't want it to, hit your up arrow and it'll lock on the vertical, right? And now if we wanted to, we could actually measure up. We could get this exact slope. We could find out like up here, we could measure up 0.5. So that would be like right there. Maybe it needs to go right there to have the same slope. Or you can just eyeball it, right? Look at that. Okay. Good. All right. Now my round wall folks over here. Yeah. I'm gonna make this thing go back to where it was before. Don't copy this part. Ah, that's the problem. Okay, so you guys are right here, yeah? Right? Some of you. Pay no mind to these stairs in the background, yeah, or the walls in the background. Did you get does everybody have this wall right here that you dropped down? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let's move it back up somewhere. And also, it's probably not in the same group, is it? It's like up here with these other walls, right? So is everybody right here? Or, well, hey, I'm going to start from here. Is that good? Real quick, everybody, give me a thumbs up if you're right here. You have all your walls imported and you made faces. Yes, thumbs up? Way up. I mean, get those thumbs way up there so I can see them. No, come on. Got them? Okay, you guys who are, where are you guys at? What? Do you guys have walls? You guys got, you're ready. You're already on cheek walls. How about you guys? The walls. Do you have them imported? And do you have faces made? Then why weren't your thumbs up? Ay. Okay, so are we all about here? Yes? I don't know. I'm going to start from here. Okay. So look, you made this guy into a group. Yes. If you didn't yet, I'm going to explode it. So don't explode yours. So look, all of this came in like this. We're going to double click inside this group. We're going to grab this guy. We're going to triple click. So we have all of the attaching lines and face, right? Then we're going to right click and we're going to make that what? A group. A group. Uh-oh, time's up. That was all we had. No, just kidding. We make it a group, yeah? We don't need it to be a component because we're not going to repeat it a lot, yeah? So we're just making it a group. All right, now it's in the wrong group. I want it to be in the same group. Oh, mine's already in the right group. But if yours is in the wrong group, doesn't matter. So select that. M for move. You can select this edge over here, that little corner, click once. Now it's ready to move. Up arrow locks it in place. Drop it down to right there. Okay. Hey, do you have these files? Did you want to do this or not? Yeah, I have the whole thing built. You can jump in wherever you want. You're probably working, huh? Yeah. Multitasking, huh? You got a deadline over here and you pick it up somewhere. Okay. How we doing? Good? Dropped it down. Now, yours is probably not in the correct group, yeah? How do we get it in the correct group? Are all of these things grayed back? So what I want you to make sure you have it in the correct group. So you're gonna you still selected that one. Control X, which cuts it, right? Then you're gonna double click inside the group with this plaza and all the line work we've been doing. You're gonna double click inside that, so we're inside that group. And then what are we gonna do? Edit, paste in place, right? Edit, paste in place. Boom. Are you here? Will you just make a video like walking around for just a minute with my phone so I can just share it with you? I talked to them last night and they said that they would pay for my hotel upgrade. It's only like $50. He's great. No, I found that one online. No, he's funny. Yeah. Yeah. He said it's a holiday tonight, so and it's his birthday tomorrow, so we have to go dancing tonight. Yeah. I know. Well, he's probably expecting a cake. Yeah, yeah. Oh, is it working? Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, we good? All right, up here. All right, so is everybody right here? We're good? What are we doing next? Yeah, we're gonna push pull this guy. So if we double click inside that wall, right? Inside that group that we made, how tall is the seat wall? 0.45, right? So hit P for push pull, bring up that command, click once here, and then we click once, and then we can actually type in 0.45. Yeah. Nice seat wall right there. Right. And then remember the other part, look, we look down here when I do this little section. We have the plaza, right, at 17. We have the top of wall at 17.5. We changed that to 17.45 to be a little bit more comfortable, right? But then the bottom of wall on the outside of that section is at 16.5, right? So all we're going to do, because we're going to make the 10 in just a minute, but we're just going to grab the bottom of this wall and pull it down 0.5, yeah? So we're going to make sure you're inside that group within a group. Keep going until you're actually in that group. And then just select that bottom wall. Hit P for push. Click it once. And then once you see that it's actually stretching down, we're going to hit 0.5, yeah? So now we've got, look, we've got a 0.45 wall on this side. And then on this side, the soil will be down here, yeah? Kind of retaining that. Cool? Is that good? Now for the video, when I ask you if you all understand it, you really want to say yes. So how are we doing? Oh, wow. Everybody's getting it. First pass. No, but seriously, is everybody's wall look like that? Is it good? Yes? Lots of thumbs up? Yes? Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. All right, good. So then we're going to jump over, and then all of those walls that we imported, thank you. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So all of those walls, remember, I have to like prove that we're doing stuff over here, you know? Yeah. Oh, and then if you want, here's the other thing too. If you're like, oh, at the end of the workshop, if you learned anything, I want you to make like, you know, you don't use like a filter or anything, but just be like, hey, I really learned this in the workshop. Thanks for that, you know? And then you send it here, and then I can be like, look, man, I've got to go back next year. These people learned so much, you know, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, we're totally sending you, you know? Okay. The power is in your hands. Yeah, well, because Cameron is willing to come, but Cameron, remember, you know Molly, right? Molly's like, look, you can't pay for that whole trip yourself, you know? She only gives me so much of an allowance, yeah? So we need Trimble to help me come back, yeah? Oh no, look, my wall's too, I've cut off the wall. Oh dear. Oh dear. Can I borrow, can you send me yours? Just kidding. All right, so I got to fix that, but don't worry about it. You guys are going to come over here and make some walls over here, yeah? Or maybe you're already done, yeah? Would you say we have? Yeah, we have. Okay, good. Now, those of you who have been working on walls, did you notice that, look, all of these little walls over here, right here, look, they're all the same width, or these little walkways are the same width, and there's the same number of stairs. So if I'm going to make one set of stairs and walls, what should I do? If I'm going to have to repeat that 1, 2, 3 times, what should I do? What should I make? I'd make a component for all of those, right? Make it once, and then I just go copy, paste, right? Because look, there's probably more over here that have the same. Look. Oh my gosh. Right? So that's going to be saving you time if you make one component out of those. walls and stairs in the same component, right? Or you have the stairs as one component, then your walls as one component, and then you make that into a component, stairs and walls component. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Wait, a little louder, a little louder. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. That's all I do is pull stuff from old work. Oh yeah. Like all my trees, all my walls, all my stairs. I never build them this way because I already have them built. I'm just teaching you how to make your first model, right? And then I just pull everything, all the trees, all the people, like all the materials. And when we get into materials, all that comes. I'm just going copy paste, copy paste. And then yeah, it's going to change because I'm going to be designing it, but then I'm going to have more and more things to build from. I mean, I have like so many models. I've been modeling for 15 years. So I have so many models that I can just go back and pull things from. Yeah. Yeah.
If you build this, you can open two SketchUp.
Yeah.
And you can copy from one to the other.
Yep. And that's what we'll do because I've given you some components like you can just import. Yeah. But then I also gave you the model. So on Friday, we're just going to be copying and pasting from that model. Like the trees, I didn't give you the trees, but we have them in that model. So we're just going to go in there and literally Control C, other model, Control V, and then we'll put them in there. Cool.
For full disclosure.
Yeah.
Remember, I discouraged you from picking certain components, not like trees and all that, but all these pre-made benches. I'm telling you, make your own.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It works so much better.
Well, yeah. It depends on the project. Like if in here in Kenya, if you're working on a project and they're like, okay, so I don't know, like if it's a really big project, you might be buying one from a supplier. Yeah.
Yes.
If you are like in America, I barely ever get projects that are top budget enough to afford landscape forms as a manufacturer for benches. They make really nice furniture, but I always propose it, and people are like, "I'm not paying $1,000 for a bench." They're like, "No." So I'm like, okay. So I'll pull from a supplier maybe. But if I'm building it custom, like I worked on a project at the university in the art school, and I designed my own, because I was like, oh, they already have these walls, and I'm going to build this clean wooden bench off the side of it. So then I would just build that. And then once I built it, I used it all throughout the site because I was like, we're going to build one of these and it's going to be the same design throughout the whole project. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But also, so it's interesting because depending on the scale of the project, well, like if it's a really big project, like, so you could just go to landscape forms or other manufacturers and get their benches, right? But then I would discourage you from doing that unless your client's actually going to buy them, because they'll be like, wow, that bench looks great. And then you're like, perfect, we could buy it for twice the project budget you have, right? Versus like you might be able to find a local supplier here, and then if they don't have a 3D model yet, you say, hey, why don't you let me 3D model that? You pay me for it, and then I'll start speccing it. Money right there, right? And then you're modeling at night while you're watching football, and you're just making money, right?
It's also a gap because we don't have a very robust
suppliers.
Furniture
Sure, yeah.
supply system. But there are a couple of students at one point who wanted to form their own company. I encourage them again, but it's still a gap. It's still a gap.
Yeah.
You can begin to make copyright them and then start selling.
Totally.
Yeah, there's some I designed for a project a few years ago. And then I started seeing them popping everywhere because the guy who made the whole made them for us.
Oh yeah,
was selling them.
Well, what was that? Was it concrete?
Concrete and timber.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So whoever. Yeah. Yeah, the contractor made the mold once, and then he was like, "Wow, people like these," Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, and if you can't, it's interesting because so like in America, like no one's willing to pay for someone to actually build it because it's generally cheaper just to buy a bench and drop it in. The neat thing about here is if you don't have those suppliers, then you're going to get to customize your bench for the site. which is pretty awesome. Yeah, labor's cheap and probably materials, I mean, to some degree, right? So then you can actually, I was actually at is it like, it's some coffee shop right by Wilson, it's in the Shell. Big Square. So I sat on those benches and I was like, these are not bad. I mean, I know it's probably a franchise, right? Yeah, but the outside seating there, like someone had thought about the seating angle and its location on your back, and like the construction was clean. It was pretty nice. It was like a little bit of, it was mostly wood, a little bit of metal accents. So anyway, yeah, I mean, and then if you do develop something that they like, I mean, I don't know what it's like to, I don't know if you can get them patented, but that might be a stretch, but it's kind of neat that you can actually get in and figure those out exactly. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So back to the stairs, yeah? So I'm not going to undo this one, but this is where we're headed, right? You made the faces, right? These are actually all still in that same look. These are all still in a separate group, aren't they? Now there's advantages to keeping them in one group. Watch this. Hey guys, watch this real quick. So look, if all of those things are in the same group, yeah? If all of my walls, see how just the walls are in the same group, right? Oh, this one's not though. I could put it back in there if I wanted. But I could apply a material to the whole group, yeah? So if I wanted to, I could say, and by material in SketchUp, that means basically you're just like painting it, right? The same thing in the real world in terms of I'm using wood or stone or concrete. But I'm gonna come over here to my default tray. I really hope I resumed my recording. I did, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here, sorry, to my default tray. And I'm gonna select a material, yeah? I'm gonna do the drop down here and find, what do we want? Do I wanna do stone? Let's see what we got for stone. No, that's like for interior stone. We want, you can't do concrete. A lot of times there's brick, yeah, asphalt and concrete, yeah. One of my favorite ones is actually to do the concrete form. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So I went to materials. I'm going to select this concrete form, right? Now watch, if I come into that group, first I have to get all the way back into that group, right? So I'm going to go back to my selection tool. I'm going to make sure that I'm selecting just that group, right? See all that? It's just on my walls, right? Now I can hit B for bucket. I don't know. I would have put P for paint, but it's B for bucket. There's a paint bucket, right? And then you could actually, as long as you have that one selected, and look, all of your walls are now concrete, yeah? Isn't that nice? This wall is not, though. Oh, because that's the whole group, right? So there's advantages to actually grouping. I had a friend that he would do all these models. He would keep everything on the 0 layer until he wanted to start doing materials. And then he would group all of his walls together, or all the walls with the same material. He'd put that all in one group so he could paint bucket. Boom, 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 boom. And then if we were changing that, you just click it once and the whole thing changes, yeah? Now, there is an issue with this. I want to get into this on Friday. You can actually go in and modify these so they look better. Right now, it's just material, the whole thing. And you can tell it looks kind of funny, right? It's not, but you can actually go into individual faces and you can modify your materials so they look really good, okay? So we can do that later, but anyway. So back to the walls, right? Now watch, the neat thing is now that I've added the color on there, or I've already added a material on there, if I come into these walls, I'm going to double click in here, keep going in. So I'm selecting this one and this one. Are we making walls? Is everybody watching me? I'm going to show you how to make walls from just the faces, okay? So eyes on me real quick, yeah? Or unless you already know how to make the walls, I just want to show you how to make them again because I was going to circle back, yeah? So watch. All these are, they don't have to have a material or not. Don't worry about the material. If you did that, good. If you didn't, don't sweat it. They can be just white. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this guy because I want this wall to be, I want this wall to be the same as this wall, right? Just like we did up here. So what am I going to do if I want them to be the same? Make it a component, right? So I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna right click, make. Once I select all, if I triple click, right? If I double click, oh no, I guess double click works too. Double click gets me all of that, right? Gives me the faces and then all the edges connected to it. Right click, make component. What is this one? Cheek wall, cheek wall 02. Okay. Oh, but now I do need to move them down so I could move it over. So now I'm going to grab both of these. Both selected by holding down control. I can select both. I'm going to hit M for move. And I should be able to drop this straight down. So it intersects with that walk. Yeah. There. Okay. Now this is the one that I made into a component, right? So I can delete this over here because I'm gonna copy that component over to that side. M for move. Oops, I gotta select it first. M, grab that corner. Sliding, if I hit control, it's gonna copy it over to there. Right? And then when I double click inside that component, push, pull. And look, the neat thing is if you've already done the paint bucket, it'll carry that material down the sides. Kind of neat, huh? But like I said, I like my cheek walls to come up a little bit above top surface there. So people don't walk here and then fall off the edge. Wow. Right? So I'm going to click on the top of this. I'm going to bring it up. Oops, I was going to do 0.5, but no, I need to do 0.15. Okay. Okay. Is that good? Can you guys do that? Or have you already been doing that? Yeah. That way, it just indicates intuitively that there's some stairs coming and you don't just kind of step off that edge if you're not paying attention. No glasses, huh? You're close enough. Well, those are just for show. They just make you look smarter. How about those? Are those real?
Yeah.
Here's a little detail right here. Remember how our walk is sloping? So look, technically the wall needs to be a little bit longer, doesn't it? So a lot of the times, if I'm just modeling for to use it kind of to visualize, all I'm going to do is come underneath here and just pull it down to the lowest point, yeah? So there's no gap there, right? But don't worry about that. If you get that, you get it. But watch, let's do this other thing. Let's also angle this one like we did that one, yeah? Remember what we have to do? We came in here all the way into that component, right? Keep clicking till you're inside. You grab that edge, M for move. But look, that's moving the whole face, right? I mean, I guess technically you could do one like that, right? You had it at the right angle. But it's starting to get really close to, whoa, even push it back, right? So there's lots of ways we could do it, yeah? But the way we did it up top is we added another line up here so that we could break that face, right? Because right now this face up top is what's moving, right? We only want to break it, not break it, but we want to slope break about midway, right where that stair is, that top stair. Let's do the same thing here. Let's find that top stair, top riser. Oops, sorry. Double click all the way inside there. L for line. And this line that I'm drawing is just a guideline, right? I just want to come up from that guy right there. And then I want to come over with another line to there. Right? Yeah. Now what are you going to do? Oh, well, first, let's go ahead and erase. We don't need that line there. That was just for us to be able to line it up. There's other ways of doing it. You could also pull this line from there. Lots of ways. Now we have a break right there, right? So now we could actually come in. We could snag this guy, select that, M for move, and see how that's there right there. You can actually bring that down. But honestly, this wall seems a little too long, doesn't it? Why does it extend way past those stairs? Right? That's money. That's money wasted. So watch. Escape. Before we do that, let's push it back a little bit, right? So we're going to come in. We're still inside this wall. We're going to select that face. P for push pull. We're going to push it back a little bit. Maybe what? Generally, as a rule, I like to have it, I think it might even be a code, one riser length beyond the bottom stair, okay? But I'm just going to eyeball it. It's about right there, yeah? If I were building from this model, I would measure it and I'd make it precise. But right now, I'm in concept design. I'm just trying to make it quick. So I'm going to push it right there. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
That looks pretty close. Good. And then we can grab that edge like we just had it. M for move. And then look, now we're coming down. And once again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. But if I wanted to get it precise, watch this. I could hold down shift while the other way to lock it to an axis. Watch. If I'm on that axis, right? I'm on the blue axis, moving it up and down. If I hold down shift, I don't know if you can see that, but it toggles a little guideline. If I'm holding down shift, it locks me to that axis. Isn't that nice? And then watch, now that it's locked to that axis, I can come over, I can have it line up with this height, or I can have it line up with that height. just by, I'm not clicking up my mouse. All I'm doing is holding down shift and it keeps me in that command, right? And I'm going to say it locks to that right there, 6 inches off the ground. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to sit up straight. You got to tell me. I might all slouch you. Molly's going to see the pictures and be like, you got to sit up straight. She's too sweet to say that. Okay. Look, there's your cheek walls. Good. All right. So I want you to make the same walls over here. And you know what I do? I just come over and copy these walls over there, and then I just modify them as needed. Yeah. So watch, let's do that. Because there might be more risers over there, and there might be less, right? If there's more, then I want to teach you a command. You can make components. So if I've made components, but then I need to take those components and I need to change them without changing all the others. Yeah. So there's a way to do that. You select those components, you copy them, and then you say make unique. So there's still a component, but now they're a separate component. Instead of being stairs 02 or walls 02, now they're going to be like walls 02 or walls 0. They're going to be walls 02B or walls 03. So there's still a component. Let's do that together. So let's grab these guys that we made, right? We made this one. We made these components, yeah? Let's select both of them. Hold down Control, right? Now I want to copy them over here to these stairs right here. We'll find out if they have the same number of risers. Maybe they already do. Right? But I'm going to hit M for move. I'm going to select the top of that riser right there. Right? And then what do I have to hit to make it copy it? Control, right? Just once. I just have to tap it, then it'll do it. Then I can move over here. Put this guy right there. Oh, that looks great. What do I need to do next? What's the shortcut for rotate? Why? We don't know. So hit Q for rotate. We'll select right there. Click once. And then it's going to say, where do you want to rotate from? We're going to say over here. Click again. And we're turning it. Rotate, 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 rotate. I already know it should be 90 degrees, but it's showing me the angle down there. Yeah. But it should be right at 90. Let's see. It is. Perfect. Now look, this one has the same number of risers. So we're done, right? And then once we're here, we could copy it up to there. But I want to show you guys this part, yeah? So watch me on this part. M for move. I'm going to copy the same. Oops, did I get both of them? Yeah. Hit Control to copy, right? I'm going to bring it right up to here, right? Boom. But look, it's overhanging right here. And it's also not working down here, right? It's too long. Yeah. So watch this. I still want them to be I still want these two to be a component to each other. Yeah. But I don't want to make changes to all these things that are the same component, right? Because if I do that, watch. If I come in here and I'm like, no, I got to move this up. So it's not in the middle of my pavement. What's going to happen with these other components? All the ones that are the same component, look, see? It's moving all of those, right? We don't want that, right? All those other walls are fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to select these, just these two. Yeah. I'm going to right click and say, make unique. Okay. So once I select the components that I want to be unique to themselves, select those, right click, make unique. Okay. Now watch. Now that I've done that, whoa, I can double click in here and look, the only one that's going to change, if I do push is just this one right here, yeah? So I'm gonna bring it up to that spot right there. Okay? But this is also weird right here, yeah? I want the wall to look the same as this, that little thing. So I'm gonna fix it. Easiest way I can think to do it is to move this back up to level, push it back, and then angle it down, yeah? So I'm gonna move this back up, holding shift, locks me to that axis. Click there. I'm gonna push this back to maybe right, you know, about a tread beyond that bottom riser, maybe there. Then I'm gonna grab this guy again. M for move. Lock it to the vertical. Click on that. Cheek walls. Okay. How was that? Was that a lot at once? Is that too much? Yeah. No. I'm saying, yeah, you guys can work on it. But if you're like stuck on something, you're like, how did you do that? Put a hand, go like this. No. Or you could just say, hey, how do I'm stuck on this part. How did you do that? Yep. Right? How did you rotate the wall? How did you copy it? How did you make it a unique component? Okay. Just let me know.